Welcome to Biology Made Easy. Today we are answering the question why every species is different, and then why every individual of every species is different. Why is it that on this earth there are no two organisms that are the same? Every organism is different. So we want to explain what a species is. A species is a group of organisms that are similar and they can interbreed to produce offspring that are fertile. So this is one species, a group of organisms. They are similar, isn't it? This is also another species. This is one organism, one. These organisms, they look similar, a group. And if they can interbreed, mate, to produce offspring that are fertile, then it's one species. You see that this species and this species are quite similar. The only difference is this kind of tail that these have. But this species and this species, if they interbreed, if they produce offspring, the offspring will not be fertile. So this is how a species is sorted out. Now, we look at example of human beings and apes. There are two different species, yet they are very similar in many respects. Look at the skeleton, look at the hands, look at the ability to grasp. Human beings can roll their tongue. Likewise, the apes. You see, human beings are very sociable. Look at those apes, they're very sociable, just like human beings. But human beings and apes, even if they can mate and produce an offspring, the offspring will not be fertile. So, species are different. Now, we want to answer the question, why is every species different? This species and that species, they are different. They can be similar in many respects, but still different because they won't produce fertile offspring. Why? The answer is every species have a characteristic chromosome number and chromosome morphology, right? Morphology is structure, all right? So we give examples. We have man, the scientific name, Homo sapien. Chromosome number of man is 46, 23 pairs. Look at our close relatives, the apes. Troglodytes, the chromosome number is 48, 24 pairs. Now, look at the domestic sheep, Ovis aries, and the domestic goat. You see, domestic sheep has chromosome numbers 54. It has 27 pairs of chromosomes. The goat has 60 chromosomes, 30 pairs of chromosomes. You see that the sheep and the goat, look at the chromosome number. You see they look quite similar, but you know how strange behavior the goat has and the sheep calm. So you see the chromosome numbers. Now we come to wolves, Canis lupus. Chromosome number is 78, 39 pairs. The dog is Canis lupus familiaris, the dog. The chromosome number of the wolf is 78, 39 pairs. Chromosome number of the dog is 78, also 39 pairs. This will come back. So far, what we are saying is that the species is different. It has a different chromosome number. But then not only the chromosome numbers, but chromosome morphology. I have a chromosome here. Well, here is the centromere. This is the short arm. This is the long arm of the chromosome. The chromosome shape with regards to the arm lengths are very important. So let us look at the karyotype, that the spread of the chromosome of human beings. As you can see, the chromosomes Some have very short arms. Look at chromosome 1. Look at chromosome 13. Look at chromosome 21 as examples. All the chromosomes have their characteristic morphology. Now, why is the chromosome number and chromosome morphology important in distinguishing various species? The chromosome is basically DNA folded onto protein histones. The histones serve as a support or scaffold. So I have here, just to illustrate, I have DNA here and a DNA in a cell that is not dividing. The DNAs are in as thread-like structures and called chromatin. When the cell prepares to divide, the DNA, one DNA, will replicate. We have discussed this, check chromosomes. One DNA replicates, that it doubles to form this. So this is just one DNA that has replicated, and this is a chromosome. Now, the chromosome bears genes. So I have one chromosome here, and I've put on genes. So this is genes on the chromosome. Here is the centromere. Now, the chromosome number and chromosome morphology is important because the chromosomes bear genes, and the genes are the factors that determine the characteristics of an organism. For instance, human beings and apes, if you have a gene for tongue rolling, you can roll your tongue. If you don't have a gene for tongue rolling, you can't roll your tongue. So the characteristics of an organism is based on its genes. But not only the genes, the environment comes in. We'll discuss that in our next topic. So the chromosome morphology is very, very, very important. We are looking at the type of genes that will be on the short arm or the long arm of the chromosome, type of genes, number of genes that will be there, centromere position, affects crossing over. Now, let us compare the chromosomes of man and apes and look at the chromosome morphology. So we have human chromosomes and the chromosomes of the chimpanzees. Look at chromosome 1. You see, the chromosome morphology is very different. Look at chromosome 2. All of them, the chromosome morphology is different in humans and apes, and that work out to determine the characteristics and so separates the species. You see that in chromosome 2, the apes have 2 and humans have 1. That's humans have a pair. The apes don't have a pair, but they have 2 pairs. And look at each of the chromosome for the apes, the morphology is different. And look at the morphology of between the humans and the apes. So you see that the chromosome numbers are different. The morphology for each of the chromosome with man and apes are different. Now let us come to discuss the problem of the wolves and the dog having the same chromosome number. So the wolf and the dog are in the same species. The dog is a domesticated descendant of the wolf. You can see that there are dogs that have exactly wolf features. Look at their ears stuck up. Dogs and wolves share almost 99% of their DNA. Every species is different because every species has a characteristic chromosome number and characteristic chromosome morphology. And the chromosome number and chromosome morphology are all very important because the chromosome is DNA, and DNA bears the genes, the number of genes, the type of genes, the gene interactions, where the centromere is holding the short arm and the long arm are all different. And once it's a different species, chromosome number will be different and chromosome morphology will be different. In our next lesson, we will explain the reason why even within a species, no two individuals are the same. That is genetic variation. I hope I've been helpful. If you have any question, kindly put it in the comment section. Kindly do subscribe, give us your thumbs, and thank you very much. Goodbye.